kit. Now I know they're expensive and I don't want the answer to all filmmaking problems to always be spend more money, but with something like this, it's kind of true. If you have something like a small HD, you know it's giving you accurate results, which might not matter for everyone, but for me it definitely does, and it should make this test a little more accurate.
Shooting 4K 30p.
So the idea behind the first test is to shoot an incredibly high contrast scenario. It kind of pains me to shoot a frame this ugly, but it's going to be really interesting to see how this holds up in post. Like if I get it into Resolve, how much of that window can I bring back down? So I'm just going to roll a few seconds of each of these frames, switch cameras, put the same lens on the next camera, shoot the same frame again, and then we'll move on to the next test. Oh, that's pretty heavy. This is hilarious. Get drunk. It's tiny. Oh, fuck. I don't know if we can get the cook on here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you have to attach the tripod plate to the cook, to the lens itself.
Oh. Alright, so this next test is almost the opposite of the first one. I want to see how these cameras look under ideal, controlled lighting conditions. For me, as a doc DP, that's most common when shooting interviews, so a few days ago I set up a bunch of lights in a friend's restaurant and then cycled all these cameras through the same position using a 65mm f4 mini lens and trying as hard as I could to get the framing consistent. This was kind of hard because each camera has a slightly different size sensor, but I think we got it close enough that it's not going to give it away entirely. Honestly, they all look good in these conditions though, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can spot any difference at all in the final image once it's been converted to 709. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But the last test for us today has less to do with the technical abilities of the camera and more to do with practicality. What are they actually like to shoot with as an operator without an AC on standby to grab the camera between takes? I can really feel that. I've just been standing here for 2 minutes. This is why I make fun of all the people on sets, but after every single take, they're just like, oh. Okay, so for the last test, we've got the camera outside, because for me personally, one of the most important parts of the job is to be able to actually follow characters around as they move through their environment. In documentaries, there isn't really any blocking and you're not working with actors, so the majority of situations I'm in require me to just sort of react to what people are doing and then cover the scene to the best of my ability. So for this one, it's not about outlier technical tests. I want to see what this is like from an operator standpoint. So I'm going to get each camera up one by one and then put it in some different shooting positions, give you my first impressions of the camera physically, and then we're going to do some test shots of following a character through a moving location, so down this sort of dark alley, just to see what it's like to actually have it on your shoulder and working. We'll start with the Alexa, obviously. My very first impression is that it is very heavy. I shoot in two basic positions. I like to cover scenes from down here, and then when the camera's moving, or when I need to change the eye level, I'll come up to my shoulder here. So between this and this, and I can usually do that pretty easily for a very long time. I can hold this for, an hour if I need to with the FX9. But even after a few minutes of this, I can see why film people are always handing the camera off to an AC as fast as possible. This is very heavy, and I know the lens and everything has a lot to do with that, but this is, believe it or not, very minimally rigged. On a big set, you'd probably have a whole bunch of other accessories, like a rangefinder and, remote follow focus and all sorts of other stuff, timecode boxes. This is stripped down, and this is really, really heavy. It's insanely well made. Like, the craftsmanship is undeniable. You can tell every single piece on this is like the very best at what it does. Even the way the handle connects with one screw is very Apple-esque in terms of just being beautifully designed. But I guess that's what you get with a $90,000 German camera. Apart from that, as an op-controlled takes, then this would be doable. But 8-hour shooting day, this would be murderous. So I'll turn it on, and we'll do a test shot with Hank down the alley and see how we feel. I will say that from a documentary point of view, this camera takes an insanely long time to boot up. I'm gonna say 15 seconds nearly, around there. And if you've ever been shooting sort of real world stories, the amount of times you're sort of relaxing with the camera down and suddenly you notice something is happening